Let me start with the key things related to the problems almost every couple faces today. For example, the problem of having too many choices. In the past, when people tied their lives together in order to create what used to be called a basic unit of society, they had a very specific program. Our grandparents and our parents were programmed for marriage, for particular roles within marriage. The husband was supposed to be the head and the woman the neck. And there was this whole collection of different nonsense that shaped and programmed our wonderful parents and grandparents. And in essence, they were forced to stay in those relationships. Circumstances were arranged in such a way that, first of all, finding a partner was difficult. If you found one, that was already considered good enough. Divorce was seen as shameful. The economic circumstances were also different. Housing, the question of where to live, all of that. You could not simply go rent an apartment and live on your own, and so on. Today, the world is completely different, and yet we are still being fed the same fairy tales, illusions, and stories that our culture has been creating since time immemorial. And we, shaped by all of that, now live in a world where there is an abundance of options. There is always this feeling that somewhere out there, and this myth of the other half, by the way, comes from Plato, in case anyone did not know. So there is this idea that we each have a second half, and at the same time there really is this feeling of endless choice, as if that half is somewhere out there and one day you will meet them. But listen, whoever you meet will more or less consist of a head, a torso, arms, legs, in various conditions and so on, and about 3 pounds of glandular tissue inside a skull, which you will have to live with. There is no special half that is designed to complete you. Especially in our world where we all still love ourselves very much, where each of us has our own opinion and we believe that opinion is interesting to someone, so we share it and argue about it with everyone. And then there is this expectation that the right person will appear, and that is where the endless sorting begins. You meet someone, you get to know each other, they seem okay, or maybe you even fall in love. Falling in love is actually the most dangerous part, because in reality, you do not know this person at all. And nature has not prepared some special person specifically for us. And this is a very important thing. We need to understand that we should not be looking for someone as much as learning the feelings, the skills, and the capacity that allow us, on the one hand, to trust, to be sincere ourselves, to love ourselves, and on the other hand, to create the kind of conditions for another person that make them want to love us, be sincere with us, and trust us. In other words, I think we need to change this mindset. Not this idea that somewhere in the world something is supposed to work out by luck. Like when people say, wow, he got so lucky, he found such a great girl. Or, she got so lucky, she found such a great guy. Lucky? Of course, no one is denying the role of luck in nature, but that is exactly the problem with luck. It is almost nothing. It is like a lottery where 1 million people play, half a person wins, so to speak, and then we call it a jackpot. So relying on luck is completely absurd. We need to start from a different premise. What can we ourselves do so that our relationship gains the quality, the state, in which this experience becomes possible? The feelings, the connection, the trust, and so on. So the question is, what are the ways to get there? Very first thing is to recognize the problem. To recognize that the issue is not that you have not found someone. The issue is that maybe everything is fine for you, I do not know. But generally speaking, if there is room to grow, as they say, in terms of improving the quality of the relationship, then what can we do with ourselves? What kind of conditions can we create for the other person, for our partner? So, here we have looked the truth in the eye. The issue is not external circumstances. The issue is our inner content. The abundance of choice is an illusion. Our task is to train ourselves, to learn, and so on. What does it take to learn to trust? Think about it. What would need to happen inside you for you to learn to trust another person? In order to feel trust, you have to understand the other person. You cannot trust someone because that would be a delusion if you do not understand them. If you do not understand what they want, what matters to them, how they experience things, how they truly feel about you, and what kind of baggage is living inside their head. If you do not understand another person, then even if you trust them, you are being reckless. If you do not trust them, that is logical because you do not understand them. So the first thing that needs to happen for trust to appear in your relationship is mutual understanding. That means understanding another person, and that is an extremely difficult skill. I have to tell you, there is an entire area of psychology connected with our ability to reconstruct another person's inner world, to understand what they are carrying inside, not just to settle for some image that spontaneously appeared in your head because of your interaction with that person. And when the spell wears off, when the illusions and misconceptions fall away, suddenly it becomes clear that this person is someone you had not really seen or understood before, and that they may very well deserve love and care, that they may actually be interesting. And when you begin to treat that person this way, they realize that you understand them. In response, they become genuinely happy, and their own behavior begins to change too. What is trust at the simplest level? I trust you. I gave you $10. You gave me $10 back. That is trust. But when we talk about trust, it is something bigger than that. It is, I entrust myself to this relationship. I entrust myself to another person. And I can only do that if I understand them. But how do I know whether I understand them? I need to understand how the brain works, how my brain fools me, and how your brains fool you. My brain fools me, their brains fool them, because that is how brains are built. They are full of cognitive distortions and misconceptions, and each of those has its own nature. And inside these misconceptions, we begin making a whole bunch of mistakes. Then we try to build a relationship and bring those mistakes into it. And then we enter a system of endless escalation. I do something wrong, I misunderstand, I fail to support, I fail to notice, and so on. The other person perceives it as coldness, lack of attention, lack of love. They tense up, they become defensive, their spikes come out. And sometimes you look at two people, and it seems they have even decided to live together. They may even actually live together. They have some kind of relationship, but with each other they are almost, the intensity of negative emotions toward the person you chose to live with can turn out to be stronger than anything you might feel, even toward people you would never let through the door of your home. Can you imagine why that happens? Because of this escalation. One small misunderstanding leads to another misunderstanding. One reaction amplifies the next. Then this feeds into that, and eventually two people can barely stand each other when they think about one another. And where did it begin? It began with the fact that you did not figure out what was going on in that head, what was happening in that other head, and how your own head made mistakes when you started the relationship and began acting inside it. That is why one of the most important things is developing the skill of understanding the structure of another person's inner world and their needs. Because we are not fully aware of our own needs, our needs have an evolutionary nature. I have talked to you about dopamine, but I have to say that our neurobiology does not end there. We have many different mechanisms built into us, and they function on their own. We find ourselves in certain states. For example, I do not feel respected. What is that? In reality, it may mean that enough serotonin is not being produced, because every person experiences respect differently. But you have to understand what is happening. As soon as you understand it, you can act on it. You can influence it. After we get rid of illusions, that is the first point, and understand that the issue is not the person, but our skills of understanding, our task is to build that understanding. That will be the first component that allows us to increase the degree of mutuality. Once you begin to understand another person, the question of a relationship filled with trust and love appears. The question of love appears. Do you think it appears at the beginning? At the beginning, what appears is flirtation and restlessness. The little games, the romantic back and forth, that is what is there at the start. The question of love comes later, when that cheap dopamine passes, the dopamine produced because your reflex circuits short-circuited, your subcortex got activated, and your prefrontal cortex went offline. That is when the real question appears, because after that, you are dealing with a person you are planning to live with. But what is life? Life is loneliness. Life. You and I are thrown into loneliness. We arrive in this world, we are thrown here, and later we are taken away. And this loneliness can either become a good journey for you, or it can become sorrow. When does it become a good journey? It becomes a good journey when there is someone with whom you can share the impressions from that journey. The bitterness and the joy, it does not matter. What matters is the impression, because then you are not talking to emptiness. You are not talking to loneliness. You are talking to an entire world. You feel yourself to be an entire world, do you not? Do you feel that? No? Every person experiences themselves as an entire world. And when you understand another person in their full depth, and you are able to share with them the impressions of this life journey, from birth until the end, you receive impressions that you can share with another world. And those impressions gain meaning. What is the point of impressions if you cannot share them? Why do people take photos? To look at them alone? To sit quietly by yourself, take a bunch of photos, and secretly look at them in a little hiding place? No, photos are taken in order to share. I am sharing impressions. That is the more practical side. But on a deeper level, if you understand that there is another world there, one that can respond, that is the overcoming of loneliness. And this is the key moment where love exists, because you stop feeling lonely. And I am not even talking about the fact that once this relationship appears, many things become shared. As Ecclesiastes says, if one person walks and falls, who will lift him up? But when two walk together and one stumbles, the other lifts him up. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. Today I am quoting the Old Testament for you, Old Testament news, Ecclesiastes. So this is the key thing. Love appears at the moment when you find in another person the possibility of experiencing events together. When you feel sad together, shoulder to shoulder. You do not blame the other person for the fact that you are sad. You are sad together because sometimes situations are bad. If you are having fun, you have fun together. You feel joy, you enjoy it. It is like sex, for example. If one person is enjoying it and the other is not, what would that be called? I will tell you what it would be called. Violence. In different degrees and forms, right? The most disgusting thing. Both people have to enjoy it. Do you understand? That is what it is. It is the shared living of life and of these impressions. Why would another person treat you well? Why should they? We have this inner attitude, these strange extremes. On the one hand, we are the cherished prize, the treasure chest of happiness for all time. Of course, each of us deserves the very best. No one is going to refuse that. And we modestly say, I did not ask for much, only the very best. On the other hand, we expect the person who comes into our life, the person we will share this life with, to solve all of our problems. We are so wonderful, we deserve the very best. But at the same time, this person is supposed to come along, lift our little shack off its knees, and turn it into a palace. This is understandable. Why? Because a child is egocentric, so a child waits very intensely for parental love. The child believes he deserves that love simply because, why? Because in his world, no one else exists besides him. So the parents must love only him. If they love each other, that already makes him uncomfortable somehow. They must love only him. That is egocentrism, and it comes from childhood. And second, when you felt bad as a child, what did you expect? That your parents would drop everything and run to save you if something happened? They are parents. That is what they are there for. And this ambivalence that we formed in childhood, the failure to understand our own childish helplessness, together with the feeling of our own childish exceptionalism, begins to play a very dramatic function, a very dramatic role when we enter some kind of adult union. And it is very important to recognize this. On the one hand, to recognize that we are not ideal, and on the other hand, that we do have some initial value that can be developed and capitalized on. In other words, you can make yourself more appealing. I keep coming up with fairy tale images, though I am not sure which ones. Cotton candy, maybe, and we can upgrade ourselves with knowledge, skills, abilities, and so on. This is a primitive example, like in sex. You can upgrade yourself there too. Not in some strange sense, but you can learn something, master something, get better at doing something. Sometimes that represents real value. Young people do not understand this. Older people already realize that technique matters, but I am joking here, of course. The point is that if you have certain skills, psychological skills, skills of understanding, practical abilities that allow you to organize life better, you begin to represent value for another person. I run into this all the time. People tell me, "We will do everything for him," or "We will do everything for her," and then that person will tell us to go to hell. Listen, if you have learned how to create your own value for another person, someone would have to be a complete moron to leave you. Do you understand? So yes, you can give fully. Give fully, do not be shy about it. But at the same time, learn how to make yourself stronger, more valuable, more beautiful. Because now everyone talks about beauty. These days, people get things done to themselves, then show me photos on Instagram and say, "Find 3 differences." 3 different Instagram accounts. They show me different women, and there are no differences. One surgeon did the work, created the beauty. So beauty is not that. Beauty is what emerges between 2 people. Why? Because it exists in depth, in the value you need to create. So there are 3 rules. First, you need to learn to let go of illusions and look the truth in the eye. You and I are not exactly gifts. No one promised us happiness. No fairy tale prince or princess is going to show up just like that. They are all dead. That was in the past. That was back in the age of dragons. What exists now is us, human beings, who can build a relationship with almost anyone. But we still do have a choice. You do not have to take just anyone. You can even take a closer look. Second, once this person appears in your life, you need to create a situation of trust between you. And that is possible only if you know how to understand another person. And if you understand them, not your own idea of them. Once this understanding appears, you naturally trust what you are dealing with, who you are dealing with. Not some fantasy, not simply, "She is a good person, so she will not deceive me." Third, so that your trust does not go down the drain, so that your giving does not turn into you giving everything while the other person takes advantage of it and leaves you with nothing, you need to know how to increase your own value. Your own value is your ability to become bigger, stronger, brighter, more effective across a whole range of aspects of human interaction. You can find a good cook, you can find a good cleaner, but finding a person with whom you feel that this life is an adventure, a person who is an entire world you want to share feelings with, impressions with, a person with whom you do not feel lonely and do not even think about loneliness because you understand each other. That kind of person is not easy to find, and that is an enormous value. Thank you for watching until the end. Your support is very important to me, and if you received valuable and new information for yourself today, please leave a like and write a comment, even a simple one. And if you are not subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe. For you, it takes 1 second. For me, it is a huge help in promoting the channel. YouTube's algorithms love that kind of thing. And you can also watch another video on my channel.